Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Honourable Member, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak a few words on the subject of education and higher education in this budget. The Sri Lanka population is highly educated with a literacy rate of 92%, that is expected for the third world countries. Sri Lanka has one of the highest rates of literacy in South Asia. This is mainly attributed to the free educational system introduced in 1938 following the granting of universal franchise in 1931. The late Honourable C.W.W. Kannangara took up the initiative of establishing free education as the Minister of Education under his program. He extended Madhya Mahavidyalayas or central colleges, which were started all over the island, providing education for all as the father of free education. At the turn of the 20th century, the supreme need of the hour was education, not merely education, elementary education, nor half-hearted education, but education that will turn the common human heroes, leaders, reformers, thinkers, philosophers, an education that will make us progressive, enlightened, and to be powerful. Large numbers of Muslim children who were denied the priceless blessings of education have to blame themselves for their awkward position as compared to the other communities in our country. The Muslims in Sri Lanka was a backward community in 1921, and between 1921 and 1946, with the establishment of universities and schools, our community took up to education, and a handful of them achieved their targets to be public servants, learned professions, and in the turn of the 21st century, our community achieved, thanks to the visionary leader, our Honourable T.B. Jaya, the first Muslim to hold a portfolio in the first cabinet of independent Ceylon. Parliamentarians, municipal councillors, public servants in high posts, education services, officers in the three armed forces, lawyers, doctors, engineers, businessmen, directors, were all playing in equal fields in our community, took up positions to emphasize that our community will survive the multilingual, multiracial, multi-ethnic nation like ours. The struggle for political freedom, freedom not only by one community, but for all communities. We minorities have always contributed our fair share. Our paramount importance was national interests above communal ones. So we stand up for our community, but we are not to be said that we stood up against the interests of our country. Today we consider the terror embarked on our nation as a curse and a doomed one. We stand up as Sri Lankans against all divisional norms in the interest of the country as a whole. The paramount obligation is to bring us unity among the people of our country with freedom to all communities, all of us working towards a common goal. Education is not a result of misunderstanding, though some think. The language barriers created, the lack of trust and confidence and misconceptions that have taken many shapes denied to achieve the satisfactory measures of freedom. Let me quote, when George Washington of USA, the President of USA, sent a word to the chief of the Red Indian, Chief Seattle, that he wanted to occupy some of the Red Indian land, whether he could buy them. The chief of Seattle sent a message back to the President, George Washington, quoting, "We love this earth as we newborn loves the motherland, mother's heart. Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle as every sandy shores, every mist in the dark woods, every meadows, every humming insect, in all memory, the experience of my people is a part. As a part of this land, you are a part of this land too. This earth is too precious for us as it is precious for you too. The earth does not belong to man, that the man belongs to the earth. Honourable Speaker, as a member of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, I wish to debate the shortcomings I represent in my people for my district of Colombo. In the primary and the secondary education, which structure is divided into three parts: the primary, junior, secondary, and the senior secondary. The last 5 or 6 years, at the end, the students write scholarship exams for the 5th year scholarship. The exams allow students with exceptional skills to move into better schools, but our problems remains in the first stage. Having 23 Muslim schools for boys and girls under the provincial system of government in Colombo, in the Western Province, with 2 national major schools, our community is sent from pillar to post for education of grade 1 admission. Day by day, the city population is increasing in spite of private schools and international schools. Our children who come from the poorest of poor garden tenements in the backyards in the city of Colombo, especially shanty dwellers in Mattakulia, Slave Island, Grand Pass, Devadakoda, Maligawatha, Alutkade, Wanathamulla, and other areas of Mattakulia and Madampitya. Living below the poverty levels of poverty, earning less than 1,500 rupees a month, wage earners, their plights of their children, half of them are sick and tired for seeking grade 1 admission, have surrounded our homes for admission to school. I need to invite the attention of the Honourable Minister that proper schools must be granted to the poor of the poor. The need for new schools in the Kolonnava area, a greater area, approximately 20 to 30,000 Muslim families have migrated to Kolonnava. There is not a single Muslim school, and the area is fully saturated, and these children have to go from place to place seeking admission. Honourable Minister, we strongly urge the establishment of 2 Muslim schools in the Kolonnava district for girls and boys, because all those children in that area are being refused and returned for us to ask them to go to Muslim schools because their medium of education is Tamil. We Muslims would like to learn the Tamil language, and we would like to be students in the Sinhala schools as well. Therefore, we would like you to establish 2 schools in the Kolonnava area for boys and girls, for which I urge the government to set up the schools in this area. There is abundance of state land that can fulfill the shortcoming of education of Tamils and the Muslim children. As community, there is no theme that the Sinhalese medium and the Tamil medium should be adhered to. So the Tamil medium schools in Colombo are underutilized, and only Tamil medium and the present generation students are also interested in the Sinhala curriculum. Today we are faced with a major problem in the provincial schools where the Muslim children have been asked to, by the principals of schools, not to adhere to the traditional Punjabi costume. I wish to invite your attention to the circular 195, dated 12th December 1995, at the Ministry of Higher Education and Education for Muslim girls to be attired in the traditional Punjabi costume. Not only in the Muslim schools, but also to all schools, whether it is a Buddhist, Hindu, or the Christian school.
2 more minutes,
We
please.
strongly address this issue that this is the Islamic right of students who are permitted to the attire. I'm sorry, there is no minister to listen to my speech. I regret to inform you, not even the National University, the government officers. Now, if Anjan Umma can wear her hijab here, why not our children? This is our inherent right. The JVP we are thankful to the JVP for having spoken that additional material must be given to the Muslim students in this country. Honourable Minister, I strongly urge that the principal will work within the educational circular